This concert was born out of the desire to explore the themes of Passover, but in a musical context. One of the amazing things about Passover is that every year there are new things to learn from the story. Although the narrative never changes, our lives and our perspectives change, giving new meaning and insight to the broader themes of the Passover story. In the weekly email from this past Tuesday, you might have seen a link to the program of today's concert, and I'm going to put it back in the chat box one more time so that if you'd like to follow along during the concert, you can. There's translations in there as well as the order of the concert. Following the themes of the Passover story, the concert is divided into three themes: enslavement, journey, and then redemption and healing and hope. Just as the Israelites began as slaves in Egypt, the concert starts with an exploration of the themes of enslavement. Rabbi Noah wrote a beautiful message to Kol Dorot just before Passover. In his letter, he began, Min hametzar karati ya anani bamerchavya. In distress, I called upon God, and God answered me with expansiveness. He said this verse is part of Hallel, the selection of psalms we read at the very end of the Passover Haggadah. The Hebrew word used here for distress is metzar, which literally means narrowness or constriction. The same root is found in the Hebrew word for Egypt, Mitzrayim. We often say that the story of the Passover liberation is a movement from the physical and the spiritual narrowness of Mitzrayim to the open spaces of Sinai, the wilderness, and eventually the promised land. The Seder itself reenacts a night of confinement. As the terrible 10th plague passed through the land of Egypt, the Israelites were commanded to remain in their homes, sharing the ceremonial lamb protected by the blood on their doorposts. We were slaves then, bent from hard labor and the oppression of a cruel and unaccountable regime, unable to grow as individuals or a community, until freedom dawned the following day. Thank you, Rabbi Noah, for such a beautiful, beautiful teaching. I read it when you sent it to us just before Passover, and I said, oh, did you look at my concert program and know exactly what I wanted to talk about? Because it so beautifully reflected this theme. This physical and spiritual sense of constriction or narrowness is where we begin our concert today. First, a Yiddish art song, Avadim Hayinu, by composer Lazar Weiner. The traditional text recalls that God brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. But in this interpretation, poet I.J. Schwartz purposefully omits the divine role and leaves us with the question, will redemption come? We were slaves. Lazar Weiner composed a haunting melody reminiscent of the European chant tradition that we sing today at our Seders. Listen to the dissonant chords that he uses that only adds to the unsettling description of the lives of the Israelite slaves.
Schlafen seine mir gewinn, gon amol in land Mitzrayim. Teures kommen auf vergehen, nicht gewinn, wir so befreien. Amen mit den lang geknoten, Zingel machen vor dem Meuer, in dem Herzer von die Sklaven, hochgegliedert Zaur und Treuer, Avadim Hayinu. Pfeift den Mitris, peitscht aufs Rukens, schneit sich in den Leib mit Zurin. Paare heißt, enthalte trinken, wird der Jüngel noch geboren. drin. Saken brännen som vermisrach, im Plätze stunge boingen, und den Moinech, tinket sorin, hakeletet in die Oigen, avadim hayinu. Blut und Fleisch, Elend war Knoten, und die Sklaven schweigen, stummen. Deures kommen, deures gehen, wenn damals bin geholen kommen. Avadi Hayinu.
Thank you. I'm going to change the order a little bit. Cantor's prerogative, right? I'm going to switch, and I'm going to sing Close Every Door next. Close Every Door is the heartbreaking song from Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Although the musical is the prequel to the Passover Seder, Joseph finds himself in jail in his own Mitzrayim for committing a crime he did not commit. In the despair of this moment, Joseph has a difficult time seeing any way forward.
Close every door to me, hide all the world from me, bar all the windows and shut out the light. Do what you want with me, hate me and laugh at me, darken my daytime and torture my night. If my life were important, I would ask, will I live or die? But I know the answers lie far from this world. Close every door to me, keep those I love from me. Children of Israel are never alone, for I know I shall find my own peace of mind, for I have been promised a land of my own. Close every door to me, hide all the world from me, bar all the windows and shut out the light. Just give me a number instead of my name. Forget all about me and let me decay. I do not matter, I'm only one person. Destroy me completely, then throw me away. If my life were important, I would ask, will I live or die? But I know the answers lie far from this world. Close every door
Thank you. Yatsa Mimitzrayim is a song jointly composed by Noah Aronson and Alana Arian. Using the text from the Haggadah, the song says, B'chol dor vador, in every generation, we should imagine ourselves as if we were enslaved in Egypt. When have we felt trapped, or felt total despair, or bound to relentless hard work? We may not know exactly what it feels like to work under the hot desert sun, but each of us has been in our own narrowness, our own Mitzrayim. We can begin to imagine. For this next piece, I'm joined by fellow Kol Dorot congregant Jenna Mate. Big thank you to Jenna again for participating in that and singing with me. Very excited to sing with her in person. My household is currently obsessed with the movie Frozen. And to be clear, that's both the original Frozen and Frozen 2. In Frozen 2, Elsa hears a mysterious voice calling out to her. Elsa and her sister Anna, the magical snowman Olaf, and Kristoff travel to an enchanted forest and dark sea well beyond their kingdom. As they enter the forest, Olaf says, "Did you know that an enchanted forest is a place of transformation? I have no idea what that means, but I can't wait to see what it's going to do to each one of us." The journey is sometimes where the most transformation happens. Between leaving the pain of slavery and reaching freedom, there can be an immense amount of learning and growth. The Torah narrative doesn't tell us about the personal growth of each of the Israelites. It's left to our collective imaginations to dream about how they might have each changed or transformed as they fled from the Egyptians and crossed the Red Sea. This next section is all about journey, and I'm so excited to have our music director, Jim Rensink, virtually join us to play the theme from the movie Exodus. Again, thank you to Jim so much for recording that for us and for recording all of the piano music for this concert as well. It took a few takes and lots of patience on his part, so many thanks to Jim as well. The Psalms are a beautiful body of work. They encompass the whole spectrum of emotion. Psalm 121, the psalmist cries out to God in the midst of turmoil and asks, "I look to the mountains, from where will my help come?" The psalmist finds comfort in knowing that God is by our side in our coming and our going. Composer Ben Steinberg wrote beautiful music to accompany this text that is both comforting, but also reflects the psalmist's emotional state in the midst of the journey.
Esa einai el harim me'ayin yavu Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim haaretz al yiten lamot raglecha al yanum shomerecha hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomrecha Adonai tzilcha yaminecha Yomam hashemesh lo yakecha v'yareach b'layla Adonai yishmor mikora yishmor et nafshecha Adonai yishmor tzitecha uvolecha me'ata ve'harolam.
Finally, the section concludes with the words of Reb Nachman of Bratslav. The whole world is a narrow bridge. The only thing is not to be afraid. Being brave in the face of fear of the unknown isn't easy. Even on a narrow bridge, in the most uncertain of our life circumstances, sometimes the way to get to the other side is by facing your fear and going forward. Alana Arian harnesses that feeling of bravery coupled with fear in her piece, Gesher Tsar Me'od.
The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar me'od. Ve'haikar, lo nefachet klal. Ve'haikar, lo nefachet klal. Kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, gesher tsar me'od. most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. Ko haolam kulo, ko haolam kulo, geshet zar me'od. Vehaikar, lo lefafek klal. Vehaikar, lo lefafek klal.
We have reached our final section. Finally, the Israelites crossed through the Sea of Reeds and reached freedom. We can only imagine how they might have felt after escaping the Egyptians and the hardships of slavery, the joy, the relief, the hope for the future. These next pieces celebrate those emotions. Para Ara Estrello is a beautiful song in the Judeo-Spanish language of Ladino. The arranger of this music, Eleanor Epstein, writes that this ancient song that celebrates the quiet but indispensable role that women played in the redemption of the Jewish people from Egyptian slavery. My cantorial classmate, Cantor Aviva Merer of Indianapolis Hebrew Congregation, helped to organize this video of me and my cantorial classmates serving in congregations from all over the country. A class of all women, we honor the important roles of women in the redemption of the Israelites from Egypt.
Paro era
They're wonderful, aren't they? I'm so lucky to have them as classmates. Ozi Vizimratia, a piece by Cantor Rochelle Nelson, takes text from the Torah narrative called The Song of the Sea. The beautiful piano accompaniment imitates the waves of the sea as the Israelites cross through, and the joyous dance of the Israelites as they declare, Mi chamocha, who is like you, Adonai, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders.
Ozim Zimratia, Vayili Lishua. Ozim Zimratia, Vayili Lishua. Adonai ish milchama, Adonai shemo, Markmo paro v'chelo ramayam, Umivcho shalisham tuvut v'yam suf. Oziv Zimratia, Vayili Lishua. Oziv Zimratia, Vayili Lishua. Mi chamocha ma'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ma'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Nora tehilot ol seifel, nora tehilot ol seifel, nora tehilot ol seifel, nora tehilot ol seifel. Mi chamocha ma'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Mi kamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Well, we've reached the end of our concert. Just over a year ago, in the earliest days of the pandemic, we observed Passover together in a whole new way. Because we couldn't gather together with our families, we joined Seders on Zoom, on FaceTime, with phone calls. In those early days of the stay-at-home orders, a creative group of artists and musicians put together a special online program called Saturday Night Seder. Rooted in tradition, but rewritten to include comedy, music, and sketches, an incredible group of actors and other celebrities, including Jason Alexander, Josh Groban, Idina Menzel, singing The Four Questions, Ben Platt, Stephen Schwartz, Rachel Brosnan, and many, many, many more made a Seder. It's a really touching, funny, and engaging show to watch. I'm going to put a link in the chat box in case you're interested in investigating more. I highly recommend it. The program concluded with a touching and beautiful song based on the last lines of our Seder next year in Jerusalem. Although Jerusalem is a beautiful city we physically dream to be in, it's also a place that represents hope for a new tomorrow. The Seder is structured in such a way that it reminds us that even with the many obstacles and challenges the Israelites faced in Egypt, it's important, it's necessary to always conclude the story looking forward to tomorrow, to next month, to next year. Here is to all our hopes, dreams, and prayers for next year.
When the walls have grown narrow, when the world has turned gray, when the headlines are harrowing day after day, as you wander and wonder how long you'll stay lost, remember the oceans and deserts we've already crossed. 'Cause next year, the doors will break open. Next year, we'll breathe in the sky. And though tomorrow's uncertain, we're gonna get by till it's here. So here's to next year. Here's to next year, when the people are pleading, 'cause the days seem so stark, when there's nobody leading you out of the dark. Can't let the misery harden your heart. The worst will pass over, and one day the waters will part. 'Cause next year, the doors will break open. Next year, we'll breathe in the sky. Though tomorrow's uncertain, we're gonna get by till it's here. So here's to next year. Here's to next year. Here's to next year. Next year, the world will break open. We'll breathe in the sky. We're gonna get by till it's here. As you wander and wonder how long you'll stay lost, remember the oceans and deserts we've already crossed.
Thank you. That was not supposed to happen. I did not add in applause for myself. Let's see.
Yeah, this is one of the things I feel like it's really missing. I want to hear the applause. And so I encourage, I can see it. I see it on your faces. And so let's give a round of applause one more time. Let's let her see it.
Oh. Thank you.
Beautiful. Cantor, thank you once again. I want to just, before we conclude for the night, I want to take us back to last year one more time to remind us that at this time last year, we couldn't have a concert like this. We couldn't have a concert at Passover because we didn't know how to do it yet. And so, of course, Cantor Sarah knew how to sing and knew how to select music and bring us wonderful guests, but we we physically didn't know how to bring music to our community and to let us share an evening like this. And so for all of the other things that Cantor has done for us over the course of this year, one of them was to learn. And to create this opportunity for us to share a concert in a new way, not for the first time, but this I think was the best one yet. And so thank you, Cantor, for doing that. We friends have arrived at the fifth night of Hanukkah, of Passover, and another one of the things that we do during this season is we count the days forward. From the day following the first day of Pesach, we count 7 weeks of 7 days, 49 days, and the 50th day is Shavuot, the day of the giving of the Torah. And so we say, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed are you, eternal God, ruler of the universe, who has given us commandments to make us holy and commands us to count the Omer. Hayom chamisha yamim laomer. Today makes 5 days of the Omer. May it be a good and sweet counting for all of us. Cantor, thank you again so much, and have a great night.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night, everyone.